Say, Grandma, is there anything you would want to do if you turned young again? We were poor as a young couple and couldn't even get us a honeymoon trip, said Shouzou Saitou, apologizing to his wife, Ine. But she was fine, knowing just being able to talk to him nonchalantly like this was more than enough for her. The elderly couple headed towards an important apple tree, one they had planted together after they had gotten married to celebrate their wedding now 60 years ago. It had even split once during Typhoon Mirai. They had thought it was done for, but it miraculously survived. But more astonishing on this day was the appearance of a golden apple. Later that night, Shouzou reflected on how they were so poor and busy, yet the woman he loved still remained by his side. He thought things like, I'm sure she must have a lot she wanted to do. She must have still wanted to wear her favorite clothes and go into town. But seeing his teary face in the mirror young yet again, he screamed out for his wife. Running into their room, he found his lovely woman the same way. The two blushed as he set her down the bed and told her, we're going on a honeymoon trip. During another evening, their granddaughter Mino came to visit, only to be flabbergasted meeting her youthful grandparents, losing her mind a little. She accepted things pretty quickly, telling her grandfather not to cut his hair as he looks good with it, even though his bangs kind of get in the way. On the way home, Mino mentions to her father giddily about her youthful grandparents, but of course he has no idea what she means. During a game of cricket, two elderly men discuss how they've missed seeing Shouzou and Ine lately, with those two known as the lucky lovebirds. However, we hear elderly ladies scream at the handsome young Shouzou as he sizes up the ball. We turn back a few days prior, where Shouzou and his son Yoshiaki were arguing. Yoshiaki wanted his parents to move in with them, as the parents were getting older and more prone to injury. However, Shouzou refused to budge, knowing their ancestors protected this land for hundreds of years. He understood where his son was coming from, but he wouldn't abandon this legacy. Ine apologized to her daughter-in-law Kaede for having to hear their husbands argue while they did the dishes. But Grandma Ine felt perfectly fine, as long as she could stay by her husband's side. Back to the present, Kaede came over to bring ingredients Ine had asked for, only to be met with her father-in-law, kindly mentioning Ine is at a community center meeting right now, and now totally confused with this being the first time she's seeing Shouzou young. Oh my god, she left the room because she wasn't expecting her father-in-law to be so handsome? This is getting a little spicy. Spicy enough that Ine has bad feelings all the way at the community center. Later, Yoshiaki had a bit of a headache, trying to comprehend the magic that had occurred to his parents. Now he knew what his daughter Mino meant when she said she was playing boyfriend and girlfriend with Grandpa. She nervously explained to her father, I mean, unlike you, he's so kind. He got the vibe. It was truly heaven on earth, so... Mino then explained her secret technique, Grandpa Barrier, to which Shouzou lovingly tells her she's getting too clingy. But Kaede scolds her, saying granddaughter ex-grandpa is forbidden even in fiction. With Yoshiaki's wife and daughter kind of fighting over Shouzou, Ine tells him they need to talk later, with a slap. As they say their goodbyes for the evening, Ine pats her son's head, wondering if he's working too hard at work these days, which takes him back to his childhood, getting praised by his mother. At a meeting for the Intertown Sports Festival, Southtown meets, worried they'll lose the event. But upon seeing the absolutely jacked Shouzou, they begin their praises of him, knowing he can lead them to victory. On the day of the festival, Northtown comes over to intimidate Southtown, knowing all the members from Southtown could barely participate with all their members above the age of 50. Northtown was counting their victory on Shota Igarashi, a second year in high school who's part of the soccer club, and Daiki, a high school third year and captain of the baseball team. However, with the arrival of the Saitou couple, things got serious. During the first match, even with Shouzou's help, Northtown was on the verge of losing. However, with Ine giving a cheer to her husband with pom-poms, he miraculously got amped and took a victory for Southtown, even if Ine got a little embarrassed. The next event is a three-legged baton race with the Igarashi brothers taking the lead. As they've been playing sports together for over 10 years, the two know each other's quirks more than anyone. Unfortunately for them, the moment the Saitou couple gets the baton, having been together now for 70 years, Shozo can adjust his running perfectly to match his wife, and the two claim an easy victory. No matter what the event, the Saitou couple crushes it and Southtown wins by a landslide. With Northtown losing, Grandpa Igarashi isn't so happy about the embarrassment his sons faced. He's spiteful that Shozo stole Ine from him 70 years ago, and now he's stolen his grandson's smiles. But then, Ine pays them a visit. She can't be around her husband right now since he's getting so much praise from his victory. He's surrounded. So, she decided to share lunch with the Igarashis. As they enjoyed lunch, Grandpa Igarashi noted his wife, who passed away 3 years ago, as self-centered for leaving their cute grandsons behind. Ine then remarks, looking at the two boys, it reminded her of him when he was young, and that time he'd confessed his feelings to her, which surprised the boys, now knowing why their grandfather was always picking a fight with Southtown. On another day, Grandpa Igarashi sent Shota to deliver something as thanks for the meal, but with Mino answering the door, the boy was completely flustered, handing over the bag. Inviting him inside, Shota sat completely unable to talk, with tea in hand. He had no idea Mino was related to that Saitou couple. He knows Mino is super popular at school, and even though he's always had trouble communicating, she's always been cheerful with him. He's stun-locked being alone with a person all of their peers admire. He tries to get through this by fiddling with his phone, but it fails since she gets interested in what he's playing. Unbeknownst to them, Mino's mom and grandma had been spying, and Kaede is wondering what to do if her daughter gets a boyfriend and eventually married. However, Shozo is excited to have great-grandchildren. Conversing with Shozo, Shota finds him very kind, but somehow feels an immense pressure from Ine and Kaede. With the adults wanting to learn more about Shota, Mino praises him for being smart and good at sports. However, this only leads to Ine and Kaede nervously whispering, judging on whether or not he'd be a good match for Mino. Shozo tries to ask Shota if there's a girl he likes, only to get quickly stopped by his wife, who makes an excuse that there was a mosquito on his face. Shota then says his goodbyes for the evening, and as Mino walks back in the living room with her grandfather, she's a little saddened because she wanted to talk with Shota alone a little more, making Shozo nervous because now it's a secret only he knows. On another day, Mino is surprised to hear her grandmother was the one who confessed to Shozo first. They married for love, which was rare back then. Shozo then said he always yearned for Ine, and told her he was overjoyed, but the times just wouldn't allow it. His father was a man of tradition. He intended Shozo to have an arranged marriage with the daughter of his good friend, because back then, the family a person was born into influenced a lot of things. At first, Shozo didn't do anything, until he had a huge fist fight with his father. For a while, he thought of eloping, but with Ine's support, they managed to overcome everything. Shozo remembered his wife to be so cool back then. She even called out the girl that his father introduced to him, with Ine telling her, "I will never let you have my man." Well, she had someone she liked too, so the girl was kind enough to withdraw gracefully. Hearing all this, Mino decided to ask Ine if she could think of her as a love rival and reenact that moment, and this somehow put a sparkle around Shozo. So, Ine had no choice. She grabbed Mino's face and spoke those same words on that fateful encounter, making the granddaughter and grandfather gush over Ine. And I gush at you liking this video and subscribing to my channel, because here at my Shoujo Weekly, I got plenty of fun anime I just want to share with you. So come on, get on my side, hit that subscribe. We see some boys making their way through the Saitou family's apple farm. They discuss how boring farm work would be, and the desire to get rich and live in the city and get themselves some girlfriends. However, their minds changed quite a bit, seeing the beautiful Ine working, as they remembered a much older couple tending to the apple farm. A simple smile from her seems to be enough to get them looking bright red, and seeing her off, they now reconsider the farm life. Previously, Ine was looking to throw this pamphlet away, but seeing the beautiful dresses on it, her heart yearned to wear them, which is something Shozo picked up on, because when they turned young, he one day brought a small package for her home, and Ine began to blush at the dress that was inside for her. Shozo is a conservative man when it comes to affection, so he tells her he didn't do anything. But this doesn't stop his enamored wife from getting close and embracing him. Later, the Saitou couple watches a drama that Mino suggested to them, where the young male lead does a kabedon and goes in for a kiss. However, this only gives Shouzou the impression that young people are too much into radical love gestures. He thinks actions like these are far too much. But it seems Ine is completely lost and can't stop looking at the show. She then begs her husband for one thing, a spicy kabedon on her. However, despite Shouzou's gleaming performance, Ine tells him she doesn't feel anything from this, since they've been together for so long, making Shouzou scoff it off, believing that's just how the youngins like to show off. But secretly, Ine's heart was going to explode from how hot it was. In the evening, Mino opens the door to one of her grandparents' friends, but the granny's country accent is so thick she can't understand. She asks Ine for help, and to no one's surprise, Ine can conversate with the granny just fine. And now, we're introduced to Shiori, the daughter of the Saitou couple's second son, Takahiro. Ine assures her son that Shiori will be just fine with them. She had apparently gotten into a quarrel with her father and ran away to their residence, but of course was surprised to find her grandma Ine young again. She's going through the typical coming-of-age struggles. Shiori had studied really hard in school to please her parents, and when asked what career path she had decided, she lashed out at her father because she didn't want to follow his footsteps into medicine. She felt alone, she felt like she had no one, felt like an idiot for trying. However, Ine comforted her teary-eyed granddaughter. We flash back to when Ine had asked her what she wanted to be in the future, to which Shiori responded with glee that she wanted to become a doctor to help keep her grandmother Ine in good health. Despite the immense amount of pressure Shiori felt as she got older, Ine told Shiori she'd always be her irreplaceable grandkid. Even in their earlier days, it seems Ine was quite sickly often, even having to forego planned vacations because of it. Her husband refused to go without her, as he wanted to see her in a swimsuit to show it off to the guys. My man. Looking at a swimsuit magazine, Ine thought the youngins exposed their skin far too much. However, she wondered what she should wear to please her beloved. She thinks he's a pervert, so of course he'd want to see a lot of her skin. But maybe she should just wear the dress he bought for her to the beach to be more modest. However, Shiori told her not to overthink it. Sometime later, Ine stares at her glasses as it seems she doesn't need them anymore. Guess her eyes turned young too. She can even clearly see all the days of the week of the calendar from here, and the small writing of the newspaper Mino's holding from a distance. With Shouzou entering in, Mino mischievously tricks Ine to read the letters on the newspaper spelling Grandpa Lovely, embarrassing the couple, with Mino claiming they were flirting in front of their grandkid. So, Ine punished Mino the same way, nearly making her spell out who her crush is. Later, watching another romance drama like you'd find on my channel, click the playlist in the description for more, Mino asks her grandparents if they'd ever held hands in public on a date. To which Ine says, no, they'd never do anything to show off like that. Shouzou adds that getting older, holding hands is more like a walking aid, something Mino finds so unromantic. Coming back from a cold, windy trip to a local grocery store, Shouzou wonders why his wife isn't wearing a glove on one hand in this weather. Oh man, she wants him to catch her hidden desire to hold hands. Shouzou knows that if he holds Ine's hand now, he'd be agreeing with Mino's sentiment on PDA and he'd feel defeated. Despite this, he signals for her to grab, and the couple walks home having lost to Mino again. At their son Takehiro's workplace, he is shocked to find his parents, the Saitou couple, young once again. In his office, he starts by examining his mother to find her breathing more stable than before, and her rapid pulse slowed down. He wonders how they could have possibly turned young again. In Takehiro's younger days, the doctor examining his mother found cancer in her liver. He studied hard to be a doctor in order to save Ine, but he ultimately had to refer her to another doctor who was more appropriate. As he studied, he felt helpless seeing her weaken every day. Regardless, Ine always treated him with love and care. After his parents left the office, Takahiro wept in joy, even though he wasn't the one able to save her. With his parents being youthful and in good health, he felt redeemed. We turn back to the Saitou couple's younger days tending to their apple farm, where one day, a typhoon struck, and in the aftermath, they had to patch up the special tree they planted after they'd gotten married. The day they discovered the golden fruit on it, they chopped some of the apples to enjoy, even though Shouzou felt the golden skin probably should be put on an altar with all of its glamour. However, Ine felt compelled to eat the fruit. After eating it, Ine found the sands of time had reversed on her, a dream that both of them seemed to have. On the day of their 58th marriage anniversary, Ine asked if there's anything special her husband wanted to eat. Despite telling her no, the usual would do, Ine secretly made red rice for them last night. Only, she was surprised to find 2 cakes Shouzou secretly had made for them to celebrate the occasion as well. The two had a scuffle over trying to surprise each other, making Ine ask why she was stuck with such a liar husband. She wondered if he did the same to Mino, to which he softly responded, not with his kids or grandkids. She's the only one so special that he'd lie just to spoil her with his love. A love that the couple enjoyed as they ate together for their anniversary. Aww, super sweet. What a nice episode. Like this video and subscribe to my channel for next week's. Also, watch this next video. It's me, ComfyTea. I'll see you all in the next one.